Right, Nick, we sell a lot of these add-ons, these clip-on weights. Just explain why and when for us, would you, please?
Someone said to me once, it's the best thing you've ever invented.
Yeah.
And I actually did invent this.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And that was many, many years ago when my business was sort of like still in its infancy, really.
Oh, you've been about a long...
Yeah.
Sorry, been about a long while. Sorry about that.
30 odd years.
Oh, that's all right.
Well, I'm quite proud of it.
Yeah, good. That's all right.
So, yeah, these came about really through my own want to have a very variable weight on my feeder. More so than the feeders that we've always done quite a lot of different weights. But there's sometimes, and because I come from a tidal river type, I'm a tidal angler really, the flow is always slackening and building all the time, you know, from 1 minute to the next. So I needed, I needed something that would just go onto a feeder rather than having to change it to the next size up. So this feeder, for example, 22 gram, 3/4 of an ounce. That's a bit light for fishing on my tidals.
Yeah.
But just using that as an example, you could be fishing with that on a slowish river, and then the pace picks up. I mean, I might use that one at the end of the tides, perhaps.
Yeah.
When there's very little flow. And that would be a good illustration, really, because the tide is eventually going to pick up again and either start to flow out or start to flow in.
Yeah.
But the pace is going to pick up. And this is eventually going to become too light and it's going to bump. And the way I fish with, you know, the modern style of rod up in the air, we're looking for that drop back bite where a fish comes along and picks the bait up and dislodges the feeder momentarily, and I'm getting a lovely drop back. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
And that's the easiest way to hit the bites. And so the next size up from that would be 28 grams. So this is 22. The next size up would be 28 gram and then 44. But it might be that there's a little bit of time in between where a 28 gram is a little bit over the top.
Yeah.
And I'll, I might have put one on, and then I might have a couple of bites that I don't really see. That I haven't had a drop back. I've come in and the bait is crushed.
Yeah.
So my feeder just for a while is too heavy, you know. So these little clip-ons, and we do them. The original ones were 5 gram, but we then started getting asked for heavier ones. But these were the original little 5 grams. They just slot in onto the feeder to give me that little bit of variance, you know. So I can fish a 44 gram feeder. The next size up from that is 60, so it's quite a big difference.
There is, yeah.
I can put a 5 gram lead on, so I'm suddenly fishing just below 50 gram.
Yeah.
Or I can put 2 on and still get a bit of variance, you know. So I can just play around.
Yeah.
And just try and get back to that scenario where a fish can come along and release that, you know, take the bait and just dislodge the feeder easily without too much effort.
Yeah.
But I don't want the feeder to bounce.
No.
You know what I mean? On its own accord.
Still want to hold steady.
Yeah. So this is a 10 gram one. It's just easier to show you one of these. They've got little feet like that, little oval shaped feet which match the holes on the feeder. So they go through the holes, and then they've got like a little gap underneath. So I can slot them through. I can push them into the holes and then just push them to one side, and they'll grip the feeder and sit on beside the lead. And I normally use the holes that are either side of the lead, so you maintain that one-sidedness.
Yeah.
One-sidedness.
Yeah.
I have seen anglers put them anywhere, but to me, they belong beside the existing lead, just so you get that.
Yeah.
So I'm suddenly fishing with, you know, a heavier. This one's a 10 gram lead. So in effect, again, if you're not an angler who wants to cart a load of feeders with him,
yeah, that's true.
And weigh themselves down, I carry loads of leads really, but and loads of feeders. But some anglers don't want to do that. They'll just take one or two sizes of feeder, but with an array of these.
Yeah.
And then you've got that same benefit of loading the lead on in a very easy way.
Yeah.
You can take them on and off, or what I tend to do is I've got a few feeders with these already on, so I do swap the feeder over, but they've got the, I'm still using that same advantage.
Yeah.
So you haven't necessarily got to take them on and off, but they're very, very simple to get on and off, as you can see. And they fit. This is one of our pellet feeders because it's got that crossbar on, but the normal cage feeders as well. They all have, although they're mainly a square hole, they all have this little oval-shaped hole to accommodate the same lead, like that. So the universal, even our block end feeders,
I never noticed that.
Did you not?
No.
On our cage feeders?
No, I didn't notice it.
Oh,
I had to pay more
you're
attention.
obviously not
didn't I?
intimate enough with our feeders to. Ian.
Still enough of them, but no. Honestly, I am. Yeah, brilliant.
So from a simple little product, it can just simplify your gear really, and so you don't necessarily want to carry the full range.
Yeah.
But with a few of these, it makes them very adaptable.
And all about bike registration as well, Yeah. Brilliant.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all looking to convert a bike into a fish, aren't we? And again, it's these that are just helping you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe I never noticed that.
Well, you know now.
Never mind. Must try harder. Brilliant, Nick.
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't
Yeah,
it?
of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's others out there haven't as well, haven't we? I hope. Cheers. That's brilliant.
No problem.
Great stuff.